Thank you. I love you too. Thank you so much. All right. Sit down. Because I ain't got my ice cream yet. And look, I want to thank Rose, and I want to thank everyone that put on this incredible event and inviting me back out here to the Temecula Valley. I hope I said that right. Temecula. I'm from Georgia. I went to school at Tennessee. We say things very simple on the other side of the Mississippi River. But this part of the country is very important to me because it was 23 years ago, not too far away from here, up north at the Big Bear Lake. That's where I married my wife, Angela. So, and we're coming up on that anniversary. Of course, for me, that's the, whether or not she wants to revise my contract. So thank God she's kept me around for these 23 years. But what Rose just talked about was so important. But what I want to do is I really want to touch your hearts to get you to understand what really this election cycle coming up is all about. We're sitting here, and Rose described this as the Field of Dreams. And if you remember in that movie, The Field of Dreams, there was that whispering voice that said, if you build it, they will come. See, 236 years ago, some men sat around and they thought about a land of dreams. And they thought about a place where the individual and their rights and freedoms would be preeminent. They thought about a place where there would be liberties and freedoms. They thought about a place that could be a republic. And somewhere, someone whispered a simple dream. And these words, if you build it, they will come. And so 236 years ago, a great Virginian sat down at a desk and he wrote some incredible words. We call that now the Declaration of Independence. He talked about a place where all men are created equal. He talked about a place where the unalienable rights of you as an individual, of life, of liberty, of the pursuit of happiness, they don't come from man. They don't come from government. They come from our Creator. And therefore, coming from a Creator, they cannot be taken away from you. That is your relationship with Him and Him only. And notice I said the pursuit of happiness, not a guarantee of happiness. And at the end of that great document, after they laid out all of the reasons why we wanted to have limited government, all of the invasive nature, the intrusive nature of the British into our lives and to our homes, then they asked for divine providence from our Creator. And they pledged three things. They pledged their lives, they pledged their fortunes, they pledged their sacred honor, that this land of dreams that they were attempting to build would last for generations upon generations. And those simple dreams, those simple thoughts were heard all around the world. And all of a sudden people started to come to this land of dreams. Because when you come to this land of dreams, you're rewarded for your own perseverance. You're rewarded for your own drive, determination. You're rewarded for your own investment, your ingenuity, your innovation. You're rewarded because here in this land of dreams that we call America, it's about your individual sovereignty. And that is why we are gathered here on this field of dreams, to make sure that the fundamental principles upon which they built this great nation, of limited government, of fiscal responsibility, we cannot continue to live in this land of dreams where we are $16 trillion in debt. We cannot continue in this land of dreams where we see a federal government that is making more and more Americans dependent upon it. We cannot live in a land of dreams where we're having record unemployment. We're having record amount of Americans in poverty. We're having record amount of Americans on food stamps or using EBT cards, electronic benefits transfer cards. You think about what you're going through right here in California with these exorbitant gasoline prices. It's all because of a government that does not understand the riches and the blessings of resources that we have here. But instead they want to impose their rule, their vision, their belief in what this America should be. That's not the land of dreams that those 56 men signed their names to, in essence creating their own death warrant. What Rose talked about, when you have individual sovereignty in this land of dreams, then you have the free marketplace of ideas. Look around you. Look at this incredible valley. And I would challenge you to tell me, find another nation, find another country, find another place that in 236 years has built this. It exists because free people came here. Free people came here and understood that one simple thing: I can be all that I can be. I can have that dream of a business and I can grow it. I can then, if I work in a certain business, I can go out and I can create another business and I can grow it. But when you have this onerous tax and regulatory environment, when you have this sense of crony capitalism that is existing out there today from this federal government, well, all you have to do is go and watch the movie that just premiered yesterday, Friday, Atlas Shrugged. And it tells you exactly what happens when onerous tax and regulatory policy, when the government becomes greater than the private sector, when they believe that they're the venture capitalists, when they believe that they're the supreme author of your destiny and direction, then producers will stop producing. When you grow the welfare nanny state, the people that wake up each and every day, that work so hard, will stop producing. That is the essence of what Ayn Rand talked about in her 1950s book. And that's what you need to go see. What she talked about, what happens when the land of dreams is crushed by people that want to have one simple thing: their own central control and power over your lives. That's why you are here. That's what you are fighting against. And see, even if we get everything perfect, even if we get everything correct, we restore our economy, we go back and we look at our energy security, and we promote the full spectrum of our resources here so that we reduce that burden upon you at the gas pump. Our greatest responsibility is to keep you safe. Our greatest responsibility, as those forefathers wrote in the United States Constitution, James Madison, John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, was to provide for the common defense, was to make sure that we protected you from those enemies that are foreign but also domestic, that we recognize the forces that stand up against us, a free people, a constitutional republic. But when you think about what we're about to do to our military with this thing called sequestration, the fact that we're about to put 200,000 men and women in uniform out of the military, the fact that we're about to take our Army and Marine Corps down to 1940s level, our United States Navy down to 1915s level, our United States Air Force will be the smallest Air Force since we created the modern United States Air Force, because we're going to get rid of 9 tactical fighter squadrons. What message do we send to our enemies about our land of dreams? That we don't want to defend it. And therefore, on the 11th anniversary of September 11th, you saw exactly what happens when you abandon Ronald Reagan's simple premise of peace through strength. When all of a sudden you take the concept and understand that weakness is provocative. Great men and women built this land of dreams. Great men and women like my parents, born in 1920 and 1931 in South Alabama and South Georgia, they would have never thought that in 1961, when their son Alan was born, that one day he would rise up to have retired from the United States Army as a lieutenant colonel and then become a United States representative and represent the highest per capita income zip code in the United States of America. That's what the field of dreams, that's what the land of dreams is all about. Each and every one of you has stepped up and taken the bat, and you've knocked it out deep center field. Now the point is this: will we be the first generation that does not allow the subsequent generations to step up to the plate with bat in hand and knock it out of the park? Not on my watch either. My challenge to each and every one of you today: I don't want to hear you whining about I'm out in California. Because the great thing about paratroopers, when you go back and you look at what paratroopers did the night before D-Day, they jumped in behind enemy lines. They took the hardest mission. And many of them were told to hold until further relief. Hold this bridge, take this field, take this town. And even when they were dropped at altitudes below the proper drop zone levels, many of them landed, as you saw, without their weapons, without their equipment. Many of them were scattered all over the place. But you know what they did? Where they landed, they fought. They provided confusion to the German army because they organized themselves and they understood one simple thing: I was given a mission. Ladies and gentlemen, your mission is very simple. Your mission is to make sure that home plate is dusted off for the next generation. Your mission is to make sure that young man, that young girl back there will years from now step up to the plate, and when they crush that ball, they will hit first base, they will hit second base, they will hit third base, and they will round and they will put their feet on home plate and score another run for these great United States of America. That's your challenge. As Thomas Paine said very succinctly, these are the times which try men's souls, when the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will in this crisis shrink from their duties. But to those who will make a stand, they will gain the love and admiration of all men and women. The question that you have to ask yourselves between now and the 6th of November and continuing on, when you look at yourself in the mirror: was I a summer soldier? Was I a sunshine patriot? Or did I make a stand to gain the admiration of subsequent generations? So that when the history books write, the history books will say, on the 6th of November of 2012, the American people once again remembered what the land of dreams was about. They remembered their fundamental principles of limited government and fiscal responsibility. They remembered the great blessing of liberty that says it's about their individual sovereignty. They restored the freedoms of their free market. They stood for their traditional cultural values. And they made sure that the walls that protect the longest running constitutional republic that the world has ever known, they stood as watchmen on the walls to secure those freedoms and liberties for future generations. That's what you have to ask yourself. That's what has to be in the history books. And I want to thank you for having me out here. But every day, dust off home plate and make sure that the land of dreams that you built is passed on for our future generations. God bless you all, and God thank you. shed His grace on me, and crown my good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. All right, everybody, turn the music off. Okay, I can't sing, but here we go. God bless America,
land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you very much, everybody.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you all got your money's worth today.